Can you take a 31 tip, almost manifesto about becoming a target market whisperer? We'll learn more about that in a minute. And turn it into a profitable masterclass. You're going to get the answer to that question here in just a moment. All right, welcome to episode 128, folks, and thank you very much for being a part of making that happen. That wouldn't be happening without y'all. And come close to the screen. And there's a lot of stuff I do with this, but this is my favorite. So thank you. All right, so a couple of announcements. You know what? We missed the anniversary on last week. February 1st marked 17 years online, full time. And so I'm thinking about, it's still February, so we can still celebrate. I'm going to find something really cool and discount it to $17 for y'all to celebrate. So watch for that. Our special guest today is Lorraine Lane, who is the results coach. And this is your second time with us, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you got to know you're doing good if if you come back.
Right.
And Lorraine does some interesting stuff. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and who you serve?
So I serve small business owners, helping them stay in business. And one of the first things that I do with my clients is help them identify their target market. Who is your ideal client? And a lot of times when I ask that question, I get deer in the headlights, or I know who my clients are. So then
or do you ever get, well, everybody?
Exactly. So then it's nobody.
Exactly.
Or I say, okay, tell me who they are.
Yeah.
And I get silence. Right?
Yeah. To tell you what you're talking about, my ideal client's name is Kathy. And it goes from there. And so with this, and with what we're doing today on the show, what's your dream, Lorraine?
My dream is to have a community of business owners that we're all engaged together in making stuff happen.
Ooh, I like that.
Supporting each other and understanding what it takes to be in business. It's not easy to be an entrepreneur or a small business owner in this market.
No, it's not. I know a lot of people that do that and are struggling or going out of business. So they need all the help they can get. So I love that dream, a community of business owners that help each other. I love that. I mean, what could be better, right?
Exactly. When I started my business 20 years ago, I wasn't smart enough to ask for help. So I did it by myself, made a lot of mistakes. And when I finally got that other people could help me, it really turned my business around.
See, you learn though, the dumbest thing I did, I think, in the beginning was I would create a product, sell it, deliver it, and then move on to the next one and never offer the one behind again. And I did that for like 4 or 5 years. And so there's probably a dozen products that are defunct that could still be out there. It's just, you learn in this world. All right. So folks, you're about to see something really cool here. Because I love what Lorraine has done with this. Check this out. Become a target market whisperer. Now, there's so many cool things about this, Lorraine, and it just disappeared. There it is. Yay. Yeah. One of the things that I don't even think you meant to do, or whoever created, did you create this or did you have it done?
I did it.
Bravo to you. For better or worse, we're in an election year, right? And this looks like kind of a campaign colors, red, white, and blue. So good timing. But study this, folks. Her name, what she does, target market, and give me Lorraine, what could have been a boring title besides become a target market whisperer? What could have been a boring title for this?
Um, do you know your target market, or how to know who your target market is?
Yeah, and especially that last one, how to know who your target market is. There's about, there's a couple thousand of those courses out there, right? So
Right, right.
become a target market whisperer. So the question that begs the question, what's a target market whisperer?
Yeah, a target market whisperer. So if you ever watch that show with the dog whisperer,
Yeah.
yeah. So the whisperer got to know the context where the dog was, who the family was, how the environment, the languaging, everything that the whisperer did to get to build a relationship with the dog and their owners was an amazing thing to watch. I used to love watching, even though I didn't have a dog.
Yeah, that says a lot right there.
Yeah. And so when you're the whisperer, you pay huge attention and are very aware of who your target market is, because you want to speak their language, you want to build real business relationships with them, have them know that you really know and understand what their challenges are, and you have a solution for what their problem is. So all of that makes you a whisperer.
I really, really like that. And it's good tips. And here's what it reminds me of, okay? Because I've been called in a lot of my business, especially when I was a counseling psychologist, and even now when I do volunteer stuff at church, a young adult whisperer.
Hmm.
And what that means is some people say it means that you know, late teens, early 20s, that's where I am emotionally and mentally, and they might be right. Um, but what it really means is that's where my heart is with that
Mm-hmm.
age group. And I take the time to know them, you know, and
Yes.
and most people don't. And I had a kid come up to me recently, a young adult come up to me recently, and she goes, I don't get it. I'm like, what? And she goes, how can you have completely white hair and a goatee, offer us such wisdom, and yet fit right in with us? And I just kind of shrugged my shoulders like, yeah. But you're talking about doing exactly that with your target market. People see you as one of them, okay? And to be called a dog whisperer, a young adult whisperer, a target market whisperer says so much about guys. There's branding, there's positioning, there's promised outcomes. There's so much in that, Lorraine. So let's go turn this into a masterclass.
All right.
All right, here we are in Lorraine's new content empire. This really isn't a blog post. I didn't remember to change that. Through the
Hmm.
magic of internet marketing, we will do that right now. No time like the present, right? Okay, we're going
Right.
to take those 31 tips, and everyone knows we need traffic. Um, Email opt-ins, Substack, uh, Medium. I'm doing one later today. I'm a guest on the AI Success Club, and that's a traffic builder. Um, and then we've got all kind of different products that come before and after a masterclass.
Mhm.
Because Lorraine, you've been on the show before, and we're focused on this one thing. We're going to go deep on this one thing, if that's okay with you.
That's fine with me.
Okay, I didn't think you'd say no. Um, so, a master class. First of all, let's talk about what a master class is not. And it's not a fancy word pasted onto the same old 2 hour boring webinar that's all fluff and pitch. Okay. Now,
Right.
you see those out there, right, Larry?
Mm-hmm.
Me too. And that's not what this is. Okay. We're
Right.
gonna, and Lorraine really, folks, presented me with a challenge to do this with 31 tips because that's a heck of a lot. All in one masterclass. But I accepted the challenge, and here we go. right? 4 ways to do it, saving the best for last. One of them, you could bundle these into categories. Like, let's say you bundled them into 5 categories, okay? And trying to fit it into a certain amount of time, 60, 75 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could have, one category about these 6 tips and da 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 da. Okay. In my opinion, that's not a master class. That's a course. Okay. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be overwhelming folks that way. Another way to do it is the master class becomes a buffet, where it's all you can eat and you just pick and choose what you want. Right. Um, Getting ready for this, I was reminded of a couple of years ago, I was in the grocery store and I love when the checkout person goes, "Did you find everything okay?" And I'll lean forward and look around and go, "Yeah, unless you're hiding stuff." And
Mm-hmm.
it's fun to break him out of the cashier trance. But this guy, who must have been early 20s at most, those Life magazines that focus on a person now, like this one was on Jimmy Buffett, right?
Mm-hmm.
This kid picks up the magazine and goes, "Jimmy Buffet, huh?" And I'm like, I looked at him and I said, "Can I talk to your parents, please?" Like, no. But a buffet is like you get Shoney's, what Pizza Hut used to have. And there's actually one near here I found out that's like the old one, where you pick and choose. Okay. And the problem with doing that in a master class is that you're going to get 31 pieces of something, but not enough to really do anything with. Okay.
Right.
A deep dive is where you take just one and unpack it all. Okay. That's good, but you don't reach all the other pieces there. I mean, certainly you could do, 31 mini courses or mini classes out of that, but that's not what we talked about today. Um, my preference here is a hybrid of all those things. And you do get through those 31 tips. Okay. And let's say you did this for an hour. Okay. Well, that's a couple minutes a tip. Let's say you did this over an hour and a half. Well, that's more time. And you're not going to spend the same amount of time on every tip. Okay? A hybrid model is where you go through all 31 and you just pick out 2 or 3 to go deeper on. And the fun thing is, Lorraine, you don't even have to know before you get started what those 2 or 3 are. A lot of times it just kind of hits you. Well, let's go deep on this one. Or you can ask either before or during, which one of these would you like to go deeper on? And that way you kind of got to be prepared to go deep on any of them, which I know you are. And so in that way, you can provide something that provides real value. Um, and then, price it to sell. Um, you know, 25 to 47 would be a good starting place for this. Um, it's worth more, but you want to get buying behavior. You could also do this. You could also use a backstage pass and say, hey, when this is done, it's going to sell for, I'm just going to use numbers, 97. Um, right now, if you want to be there live with the backstage pass for the creation, get your questions answered live, being able to have input, it's 37. Okay. And so that way you're getting paid to create a masterclass for them, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of cool. Making sense so far?
Mm-hmm.
Getting
Yes.
getting a glimpse of the future?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What questions do you have?
So when you see 31 tips, is it like that's too much? Um, or does it excite or create curiosity? Um, so I'm kind of torn between either breaking it down or making it more of a, I'm going to go through 2 or 3 tips and then give you a PDF on the other the other 27 tips or something like that.
That's a cool, interesting idea. Um, here's what I think. Um, for me, I would think let's break that down if I was consuming it. But it depends on your target market because newer people would get excited by that. I get all those ideas for 47 bucks. Okay. Um, and, after you create this, what I would suggest is do this and then create 31 mini courses
Mm.
and drive people to this. Okay. So you got 31 paid for lead magnets out there. So you're getting paid to build your list too, which
Hmm.
is not a bad thing. Um, People come into this and then, at the end of the masterclass, you offer more. It could be a course, it could be a membership. You talked about that community of business owners. It could be that this would be a great springboard for that community.
Hmm.
Hey, folks,
So
you've gotten a really great taste of this in our time together. And think of this as an appetizer. And let me talk to you about the full meal and a really great dessert. That kind of thing. You were saying you were going to ask?
yes, so when you said offer it to the community, so if I offered it as kind of forums for talking about one of these tips every week for a half hour,
Uh huh.
for 31 weeks, would that be
Ooh,
too long a commitment?
no, because what is that? It's about 7 to 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what that gets past is the natural resistance people have to locking into a monthly, because even though you can unsubscribe at any time, people get scared. I'll be trapped forever. Kind of like the old Columbia House records, remember?
Right.
My parents got so mad about that.
I know.
Um, so 31 weeks, and so it's short term, and then you could spend a week or every other week doing a deep dive on each. Okay. And I would do that after the master class. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So your next offering would be a short term community. I've stopped using the word membership and started using the word group.
Mm-hmm.
So short term group, short term community, community group. And that sounds like an old folks home. And then, at the end of it, say, hey, you know, thanks for being a part of this. Ready to go even deeper with a longer term community. And the key there is, let's say you did. Um, okay, so what is that? 31 is about 7 months. Okay, so let's say you charged 37 bucks a month for this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I love it when the short term membership. I love it when the master class and the short term membership and then the long term membership are the same price. Okay. They paid $37 for this master class. Then they paid $37 a month to go deeper. Then they're going to pay $37 a month, to go longer term because it makes it an incredibly easy sell, especially after the short term membership. Hey, you've been doing this for 6, 7 months now. You
Mm-hmm.
know, just keep doing what you've been doing, and we'll do this. So, um, and there's a certain percentage that goes from a master class to the next thing, an even higher percentage that goes from the short term group to the long term group.
Okay. So I just had a thought that at the end of the 31 weeks, you would be a certified target market whisperer.
Oh, get high five on the screen. Boom. Wait. Oh my goodness. I love that. I love that. So, and you know how you create a certification?
You just print one off.
Yeah. Yeah, you just did. You mentioned it. Now you just got to put it. Yeah, you don't have to go to the National Certification Office,
Right.
NCO. Yeah, and there's something about having that. I know people that still have their high school diploma on the wall. I
Right.
have no idea where mine is, but there's something cool about that.
Yeah.
And then, then you get maybe for the people that come into the higher, not the higher ticket, but the, the ongoing one, people that have that certificate get an extra bonus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or the other one I like to do is called choose your signing bonus, because most of us folks, we're never going to get, a signing bonus for a movie or playing a sport. But, for joining something, you can pick between this or that. Let me know.
Yeah.
So remember how I said this is the fastest 20 minutes ever?
Mm-hmm.
See? I hope it's one of the most productive. We got to start wrapping up. Thank you for being a great guest, bringing great content, and bringing great ideas. I took a couple notes on what you said. So, folks, you've been in for a real treat, whether you're watching live or on a replay. And thank you all for being here. Ton of places you could have been online, but you chose to be with us, and always, always grateful for that. If you want to be sitting over there in Lorraine's seat someday, not in her home office, but in your own, right below here is a here. Let's get Lorraine and I back up. Right below my name here is contentprofitseat.com. We are almost full for this month and starting on next month already. And you know, if Elaine's willing to come here twice, it's got to be good, right?
Right.
So, again, Elaine, thank you very much. Lorraine, thank you very much. Has that ever happened to you before in life? How many
Oh,
times?
yes.
How
Mm-hmm.
many times? Yeah, yeah. So thank you, Lorraine,
Thank
for being
you.
such a great guest. And folks, until episode 129, you know what to do. Go use the stuff.